Hey, welcome back to another episode of Go FUD Yourself. Today, weird crypto news. Crazy shit going on in the world of crypto.
Kara, a lot of weird stuff. It's too weird. That's literally, I couldn't come up with a real title for this because I was trying to find a common theme. And it was just like, yeah, this stuff's all super weird. I don't know. We've got death in crypto. We've got arrests in crypto. We've got hacks. And then we've got people saying that it's not that bad. We have AI, and then we have the SEC, and then we have Gary Gensler and Binance. And like, it's just, none of it is normal news. None of it is straightforward, happy news.
Well, we're going to dig into it. We'll keep everybody updated so that you don't have to waste your time doom scrolling Twitter. Just a quick reminder, every day, same time, 12:30 Eastern, all of the places that we're currently streaming, Twitter Spaces, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, I said that, I think.
Oh. You know, when we did the CBDCs episode, I got a lot of people on LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. No other time.
Here we are. So we'll just figure it out. But anyways, share, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll do that. Quick shout out to Opolis for Z merch. I'm a big fan of this Opolis shirt. I wear it often. Cool. I wear it often. I just like the graphic.
What's that you have around your neck?
Well, to anybody that's watching the video of this, Spotify. We're also on Spotify.
Oh yeah,
which is really cool. But anyways, for anybody that's watching this, like the video of this, you're gonna see in the intro video, there's a graphic of me with a chain, but I didn't have a chain, so I had to go out and buy this Cuban link gold chain. Had no other choice. No other choice. But now we need the pendant, so we'll figure that out. But anyways, let's go. All right.
What is your wacky music?
What?
What is your wacky background music?
No, it's like the Twitter space music, like the waiting music. I don't know.
All right.
It's strange, right? I could barely hear it. I'm surprised you could hear it. How did you hear that?
I don't know.
Anyways, all good. This is what happens. Again,
you gotta let me be a speaker on Twitter now.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right.
So this is what happens when you leave us to our own devices, producer boy. He's
he's really sick though.
Yeah, he's on the verge of death. So hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he doesn't die, and we can get him back so that we can stop screwing this up. But on the bright side,
I'd love to stop screwing this up.
We're on Twitter Spaces today, so that's a good thing. We missed the last 2 days because he was gone. So here we are. Anyways, all right.
We work at a blockchain company, which means we are very technologically advanced. Which means I don't know how to scan my computer for viruses, and I also don't know how to start a Twitter Spaces. So,
two pretty important things. So if you're trying to hack someone,
it's me.
You hack her because she doesn't know how to scan for viruses.
Okay, are you ready? We're gonna start with some news that is from the last couple of days. That's unfortunate.
And this is strange. This whole thing kind of freaks me out a little bit.
So, did you hear about Onfo? Do you know what company Onfo is?
Never heard of them, but
yeah, I hadn't either.
No idea who they are. It sounds to me like it's an L1 where their coin is the gas and whatever mining coin or some nonsense. Yeah. Anyways, what's weird about this is this guy was also an emergency room physician, and they found the guy dead.
No, and him and a doctor.
No, he is a doctor. Go back. They didn't find him and a doctor. He is an emergency room doctor.
I found all of the headlines super weird because it was co-founder and doctor, and I just thought that was like two people.
No. So that in and of itself is already strange. Like, how many emergency room physicians also?
I'm not trying to laugh at him. Just like, what an obscure headline, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they trying to make it more relevant to more people, or like, I don't know. I was trying to pack too much stuff in.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, it's kind of weird because, like, again. I mean, crypto people often can be on this crazy emotional roller coaster, right? Like
Absolutely.
things go well and then bear markets happen. We've had a pretty violent bear market, and we're just getting pummeled still with Gensler's giant stick, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But so sometimes there's crypto founders that like kind of go a little bit off the rails, I guess, but that's like every founder, every startup, everywhere. But lately there's been a lot of weird shit happening to crypto founders. Like there was Bob Lee not that long ago, who was not just a crypto founder, but was highly involved in crypto and had done a bunch of other things, Cash App and some other stuff. And then we had one of the co-founders from Amber Group, which is like a massive company. We had one guy that was found dead in like, I don't know, Puerto Rico or something, or Cayman or somewhere weird. I can't remember who it was. It was, again, a fairly notable co-founder that just like disappeared. So we were talking about like this weird, like mysterious deaths in China, or like people just disappearing
disappearing in China because they were the two CEOs. One was definitely arrested and one disappeared last week.
Yeah, but this is like kind of strange. So this guy was found like beside a lake, I think, or beside a river with a gunshot wound. Yeah, with a gunshot wound. So like I'm assuming it's supposed to look like suicide. But again, like, I mean, mental illness and suicide can affect anybody. But an emergency room physician, like, even if his crypto project failed, he's obviously doing okay financially. Like,
and a guy who hangs out with his brother a lot, has a happy family life. Like I took a little bit of a look into it. Onfo was like a bit schmishmo, but it also didn't seem as though they were in wild debt from Onfo. But this does make me wonder about other things. Like if he's a doctor, are student loans, haunting this poor man? And maybe did he take out other types of loans to start his crypto journey?
We should just forgive student loans. We should forgive student loans. But
if that didn't go well, like what I'm saying is this could be tied to other crime, right? So people are assuming that it's because it's crypto, but it might have absolutely nothing to do with that.
It could just be a simple data point. Correlation does not imply causation, right? It's weird that a bunch of crypto founders have been found dead lately, but it could just be there's more crypto founders now than ever before. And as a percentage of population, people are found dead on a relatively regular basis, unfortunately.
People are very squishy, and there is a fair amount of gun violence in America.
Yeah, but this is like really weird. Like
that's weird.
I don't know. And they're saying, at least the initial things is saying that there's no foul play suspected, which is like, what? Like
that doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
All right.
Anyways, super strange.
I felt like this was important to talk about because we keep talking about China and how stuff is weird in China. And I want everyone to remember that it's weird everywhere. It's just about how we interpret the news.
This was in Arkansas.
Okay. Atomic wallet. You've probably heard about this all week, but I just thought that we should touch on it. So basically they had it. $35 million. It's gone. Stolen. Gone.
Yeah. What's strange about this one is they actually don't know still why. Like they don't know what is allowed these wallets to be drained. And so what they're suggesting, and if anybody watching uses Atomic Wallet, transfer, like even Atomic Wallet is saying transfer your assets out to some other wallet.
Yeah, it was gradual, right? It was June 2nd until like last week. So they didn't notice until partway through, which is typical for that type of scam where you're like taking small amounts, so that does go unnoticed, untraced, right?
Yeah, I mean, but 35 million is not a small chunk of change either.
No,
that's a pretty good amount. So now they're doing the typical, like trying to make sure that the tokens can't be sold on centralized exchanges and that it's being traced and law enforcement is made aware and so on. I mean, this kind of just comes back to what we've been talking about. This is one of the big things that the space still needs to overcome is security at the wallet level, and people have to be, in my opinion, a lot more critical of new wallets that they're going to use. Because, I mean, for some reason, and we were talking about this maybe a month or two ago, but for some reason, like all the rage right now is to raise money for this new type of wallet or to launch a wallet specific to your application. The problem with that, though, is that you're getting so much novel code that like the risks are meaningfully unknown. And so, I mean, not to say that new wallets can't be good. I'm sure there's
Mhm.
amazing ones out there, but I would just say, you know, be a little bit critical when if there's new wallets. Like,
Well, this is also interesting because even our old trusted wallets aren't that trusted anymore, like Ledger, like MetaMask, right? So the big thing, if you're not a crypto native, the big thing is that if we are decentralized, we have control over our own seed phrases and funds and so on and so forth. And then we have all of these rug pulls and IP tracks and seed phrase leaks. And it's like, oh, no, actually, we are just as susceptible as ever.
Well, probably more, because before, in order to get into your bank, they had to hack likely the bank to a certain extent, and there's a bunch
That
of
was just you.
right? But now it's just any random user, and the weakest link for most people is their cell phone, of course, and RFID and all this other crazy crap that happens. SIM swapping. Now most of the phones have eSIMs, so that's even easier to SIM swap than ever before.
Sorry, have you been studying this on ChatGPT? Like, are you going to become a super hacker?
I already am a super hacker. That's all. That's actually how I got the chain. I just hack the shit out of stuff and then.
So before we move on from this, I just want to note that in the article there is an element that Zach XBT is a blockchain sleuth, and so they're one of the people who is looking into what's going on. I love the idea that we now have blockchain sleuths. Like, I can't
like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I can't wait until my mom is reading her like kitschy murder mysteries and the primary character is a blockchain sleuth, you know?
Yeah.
She was thrilled.
I mean, go ahead.
No, just, you know, she's a landscape architect and she was thrilled when about 7 years ago, she read a murder mystery that the main character who'd been murdered was a landscape architect. And that's how she knew that her career was like really in the public forefront. So whenever we get fictional murder mysteries or romances about crypto founders and blockchain sleuths, I'll be approved by my family at last. So
that'll be it. You'll have made it. You'll have made it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The chain analysis, obviously, I'm a big fan of chain analysis, but they are the ultimate blockchain sleuth, so to speak. I'm kind of surprised that they have not been engaged to try to figure this out. They may have been. I don't know.
Yeah, it read as though they had looked into quite a few different companies and were kind of hiring lots of them to do it. And I think that makes sense, right? Find all your vulnerabilities.
Yeah. I mean, now the unfortunate part of this, and we talk about this quite a bit, or we've mentioned this a few times, is that it's going to be really hard for them to convince people to come back and use their wallet after this.
Yeah.
And why that's problematic is because their wallet is probably going to be orders of magnitude better than many of the competitors from a security perspective after this, because they're going to do an incredible deep dive and spend money that they should have spent in the first place on audits and testing and bug bounties and all this other stuff. But they're going to have all that now as a consequence of this. But unfortunately, that happens a lot. You know, bridges and wallets and some of these other protocols that have been hacked. It's really hard to get that sentiment back, which is unfortunate. I don't know anything about Atomic Wallet. Honestly, I've never used it, but it does.
Okay, are you ready for some more weird news?
Yeah, this one's super strange.
Former NFL owner sentenced to prison for a $700 million crypto scam. So the deal here is that Reggie Fowler, you know, I do know that name from the news, who used to be a co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings, is going to jail. He's straight up going to jail. He pled guilty for stealing $700 million via crypto.
It's like a pretty good jail term too. It's like 6 years and 2 months or something.
Fine.
6 years. It's kind of crazy. Like that's a pretty long time to go to jail.
Probably high-end jail though, like Martha Stewart jail.
Oh, dude. Well, yeah, and obviously I have no sympathy. If he in fact did steal $700 million, like fucking beat it.
Well, I always wonder about plea bargains, right? Or even was this kind of like showing a card so that we didn't see the other cards? Yeah, I stole $700 million, but I also did these other things that you won't know about, right?
Who knows? I mean, seems super strange to me. Like he admitted to wire and bank fraud, unlicensed securities exchange, I think, or no, clearing, unlicensed clearing, I think was what the terms were, and a whole bunch of other stuff, which to me is like, I don't really understand. First of all, why someone that clearly does not need to scam people. Like, I mean, if you were the co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings, the guy's a billionaire. Has to be.
You know, I guess that if you've gone to Vegas and you've raced the cars and you've counted cards,
you do,
and you owned your own casino and you owned your own sports team, it's like, where are you going to get your kicks?
I guess.
Crypto scams. That's the answer. So part of why I think that this is a little bit of a showing one card, but not all the cards, is that he's been ordered to forfeit $740 million and pay restitution of $53 million. And he's just like, seems fine with that. I mean, I can't 100% read him, but I tried to find some footage and photos and he's kind of like, this isn't so bad. Maybe he's just good.
It sounds like that money was still there. Like that's what I interpreted, that the 700 and whatever.
He did steal it all in under a year, which is also impressive. You say this all the time. If you're going to do something like that, take those skills that you have and work for somebody or start your own company where you are doing something that is a little bit more legitimate and you can keep the money as opposed to
giving it back and going to jail. I mean, for some reason, like, okay, so there's always some people that are going to get drug into this kind of thing unknowingly. That's going to be unconscious incompetence. They didn't know what they didn't know. Some shit happened. They get beat up. That's what SBF is kind of claiming, and others have claimed. Do Kwon is claiming the same thing. Three Arrows, all these other guys are claiming that they didn't. They are. They're all kind of claiming, well, it wasn't intentional. Like we didn't know. And
Do Kwon was like,
yeah. But anyways, so it's a lot. Like I mean, it's a lot of money. Like it's really hard to expect that anybody could make $700 million in a year, no matter what you're doing. And so like, it seems so strange to me how this like feels like a viable path, you know, like, so what, like, do you actually, and that's what I was about to say. If like, these people actually think they're going to get away with it, obviously either they didn't know that what they were doing is wrong, which is probably concerning if they have $700 million exposed, but, they must, if they did know, they must have believed that they could get away with it, which again, like we say this all the time, but the forensics now and the AML, even though it's like disjointed and not perfect, are pretty good, much better than in fiat.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
And according to a Biosin report, in May alone, $45 million worth of crypto was scammed away. That's reported. 45 million reported dollars.
But that's just exit scams and rug pulls. That's not. Yeah. Crazy.
That's a huge amount of money that people are possibly getting away with, right? But then we've also seen that a lot of that gets, sees retribution. Like Jimbo's is on that list, which was what, $7.5 million.
Yeah. So the weird thing about rug pulls is rug pulls are a bit of a volume game. Like generally, rug pulls aren't multiple tens of millions of dollars. Rug pulls are like a couple $100,000 at a time. And because it's a relatively low amount, each individual person that lost money of that $200,000 is probably super annoyed, but probably doesn't have the resources and wherewithal to pursue it, which is why these rug pulls are so prolific. Like
absolutely.
Because people get away with them and there's not a whole lot of work that's done. Sometimes you get a smart community member that will actually pursue it and go to all the exchanges and trace all the transactions, but it's not that common. 35 million though, or what is it? 45 million is actually really small. It's a small amount relative to what it is in bull markets.
I guess so, but it's $45 million in 1 month. That's more than $1 million a day.
Yeah. And that's super common. Like, so, and so we talk.
You can't just gloss over that. You can't be like, yeah, crypto founders die and $1 million a day gets stolen.
I'm not saying it's okay. Don't get me wrong. What I am saying is the reason that it continues is because people keep shitcoining. Like, I get it. I get it. I understand why people want to chase that 1000x, put $1,000 in, become a millionaire. The chances of that happening are so freaking slim that more often than not, you're going to run into this kind of crap. But because
hold on, are you telling me that you're not shitcoin rich?
No, I'm not shitcoin rich.
I'm not
rich at all.
But
I'm definitely not shitcoin rich. I mean, I've bought some small cap tokens in my day, obviously, and probably bought some tokens that ended up being shitcoins after a few months.
Fair.
But they didn't start that way. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's some people that make money on shitcoins and so on. But I mean, as long as that continues, where people indiscriminately invest in things without doing their proper research, this shit is going to continue. And especially during bull markets, when you get a whole bunch of naive new entrants into the space, again, not institutional enterprise and prosumers, the majority of new entrants last cycle were like 18 to 20 something retail, and nothing wrong with being young, but you know, their experience level is a lot lower. They don't understand the space. They haven't invested, you know, for any amount of time to understand, you know, some of the risks that are involved. I just, like, in a bull market, it's crazy. Like the amount of rug pulls that happen in a bull market. I'd actually be interested in asking Leah about this, Rug Doctor, because she's probably got some pretty good data actually on how many rug pulls happen and what the frequency is, and if it's increasing or as a percentage of all projects, or if it's static, there's just that many more projects, pardon me. Anyways, it's some crazy shit. Gotta be careful. Wallets can be hacked. Rug pulls can happen.
Okay, well, you got to be more careful because deepfake AI is coming. I don't really know why we're talking about it coming into crypto specifically, but the idea, of course, is that with AI, deepfakes are more easy, and we're looking at using it as a marketing tool. Not me specifically, but people are looking at using it as a marketing tool. So in a time where we see being a crypto influencer becoming illegal in France, and people talking about why they don't want to be crypto influencers because of projects like FTX, and then we have deepfake being like, don't worry, you can get Elon Musk to do all of your
marketing for you.
Dashboard. Then like, what? I think it's going to be so much easier to scam people. You won't have to come on the stream anymore. I'll just deepfake you.
Or I'm already I'm probably already a deepfake.
Yeah, I've always assumed you were a deepfake.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's really hard to imagine kind of what the frontier of AI is going to bring. Like we're seeing things, it feels like daily, that you're like, oh, absolutely, I hadn't thought of that, but that's kind of crazy. And so anyways, this deepfake thing has been going on for a minute. This is not like super new. And this has been happening in even mainstream media for a while, where some of this stuff circulates, and then, you know, a couple weeks later, they're like, oh, that actually wasn't a real video. My kids, this is all over YouTube, this deepfake AI thing, where I always overhear my kids listening to this crap where it's like Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and Biden talking.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
like,
also love that shit.
Like it's kind of funny, but I mean, until society switches their, you know, level of criticism for some of these things, like just because you see it, like it used to be, don't believe your lying eyes, right? Like if you see it, you're pretty confident that it happened. Yep. And now the new paradigm is just because you saw it doesn't mean it actually happened. That's
paradigm weird. Is just don't believe.
Yeah, just be skeptic, really. Like, and I mean, there's so much speculation, and I wear a tin hat often, but I'm not actually on this one. There's so much speculation and could be considered evidence that a lot of Biden's appearances are either a deep fake or a body double.
People talked about that with Trump too, though.
Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah, like it's not unique just to Biden, of course. But some of the like evidence is kind of crazy, like earlobes being attached or not attached. Totally. Like there's some videos circulating last week where his forehead was like looked like it was a skin suit. Like it was
like static from a TV.
No, like it was super strange. Like it was like bunched up and like stayed there. Like it was weird. He had two eyebrows on each. It was super weird. And so again, that could just be like, you know, the lower quality definition on the video that gets streamed weird, or like who knows. I don't think that the federal government of the United States, honestly, is engaging in that level of deepfakes. But
wait, didn't we see that there was like an FBI NFT recently? Remember we covered that on this. Okay. My issue is the reason that I brought up deepfakes today is we're talking about scams, right? And people dying and things not being considered foul play. And I think it's really important to know that more than $1 million a day is being looted. And that's in one or two types of scams, not in all exploits. So we're probably looking at a few $1 million a day being exploited. And I think that can become increasingly so with how easy it is now to create content, have a deep fake, etc. So really put your tin hats on and really wear your critical thinking rose-colored glasses, because it is getting outrageous.
Yeah. And I mean, If you take the principle of Occam's razor, I mean, although arguments could be made that this could be used for good, for very good, the simplest conclusion here is that this will more likely than not be used for more bad. And the good will be overshadowed by the bad. And so that's AI in general, right? There's a lot of promising potential of AI. But some of the arguments that Elon and others have made is that, you know, there comes a point where you just don't know if you're living in a simulation anymore, or if you're like, where the things that you're seeing, you don't even know if you're seeing them, right? And now we've got these new, I'm going off script here, but we've got the new Apple AR thing that was released yesterday. $3,500, pretty pricey. But again, before you know it, like I say this now, and everybody might laugh at it, but we're going to see people walking down the street all the time with these fucking things on their face.
Absolutely.
And then you really have like, is that person real? Am I seeing a real person? Am I seeing art? Like the whole thing is going to get super, super weird, I think. But
all right.
Again, be a skeptic. Okay, let's go.
I think we can F you Friday that for a while. But before we go, we have to talk about the SEC briefly. So over the last couple of days, SEC Binance has been not ideal. So yesterday we talked about Binance and how they were looking at maybe having a new CEO and how they were like kind of looking at some SEC issues. And then shortly after our episode, the SEC filed 13 charges against Binance, which is they're claiming that Binance is on the hook for over $115 billion of issues.
Well,
make some comments about that. I don't know.
Sort of. So what they're saying, what they're saying is that 12 digital assets that are traded on Binance, in addition to the other stuff that we were talking about yesterday with their futures and margin and all this other shit. But what's pretty strange about this, I think, and maybe kind of alarming, which is why the market just took an absolute shit yesterday. Well, not the only reason, but this is a big part of it.
That's a big one.
12 major assets, BNB, Solana, Cardano, I can't remember the other ones. Kraken. No, Kraken's not a...
Matic, Filecoin.
Yeah, Matic, Algorand. They're all deemed, according to Gensler, in this charge as securities. So now that is a problem. That's a problem for everybody, really. So you got to try to figure out.
You want to talk about Gensler?
Well, we were talking about this yesterday, and I said, listen, like, I hate to say that he did what I asked, but I said, listen, like somebody's got to come out and say this is a security or this isn't a security with certainty. And it seems like that's what they're trying to do now. Is Gensler is now saying this is a security.
Ta-da.
Yeah, Gensler. Well, this other one is, you know, his issue with Coinbase, which again, I can't imagine the damage control that's going on at Coinbase right now, because I mean, according to this, that would imply that Coinbase has also been selling unregistered securities on its platform, meaning that it's operating a national securities exchange without said license. I mean, this whole thing, like...
That's what they're going after Binance for as well, which is why I think it's important to pull this tweet up. So Gary Gensler tweeted via the SEC Twitter account, which is like hilarious to me that that's where we get government news from. And then Gary, you know, retweeted it. And the idea here is that they are saying Binance, Coinbase, and anyone else who's really been operating that way is an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, clearing agency. They have not registered. They are providing crypto asset staking as a service. They are providing leverage trading. They're providing all of these things, and you can't provide those without registering. And so on the one hand, it's great to get some guidance. On the other hand, I can't believe that guidance is coming from Twitter 5 years in.
It's so strange. Like it doesn't...
Don't like it.
I mean, obviously I'm fired up about this because on one hand I'm saying pitter patter, let's get at her. Let's get this shit figured out so that we can just move on. And instead we're really, really slowly and very inefficiently and very painfully taking steps led by seemingly one person, which does not reflect what government is supposed to reflect, and that is what the people want. That's why Congress has the power to make these types of laws. But as we know, Congress in the United States is incredibly slow. And so anyways, this is a hot mess, honestly. Like this to me is a big problem. So anyways, hopefully enough people kick and scream about this. And again, Binance is going to fight this. So just because Gensler says that they're a security doesn't mean that they are.
And same with Coinbase.
Exactly. So good for them.
This is a very FUD day. Tomorrow we're going to talk about more degen news. So like, subscribe now. Maybe we'll have some happier news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not all news is.
I don't know. We're supposed to dispel the FUD, but it is funny. So.
Well, we're dispelling the FUD, but if it's real, then we can still, obviously, the idea is to report the truth, not hyperbole. So that's what we're trying to do. Anyways, everybody like, subscribe, share, do all that shit. 12:30 Eastern, same day, or every day, pardon me, same place. Kiara, go FUD yourself.
Go FUD yourself.